again today. What do you know? This will be our first low-carb check-in just to see how everybody's doing. I'm doing okay. I considered yesterday my first on-point day. I decided, Friday was it? Early in the morning, Friday, that's the way I wanted to go. And Saturday, forget about it. Saturday was the eat-out day. There was carbs galore. Sunday, I was on plan. I just didn't track anything. Yesterday, I got on point. I did my tracking and my measuring and whatnot. So I have that. I'm going to tell you how yesterday went. But first, the way that I'm tracking my macros, which includes my carbs, is on iTrackBites. Now, let me say, I am 100% not trying to lure you away from Weight Watchers. Don't think that for even a split second. This is something you can use in addition to Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers will give you your macros for individual ingredients. But once you build a recipe, you don't get that. I wish that would be something they would change. That's something that a lot of people would benefit from, because a lot of people do low carb in Weight Watchers. A lot of people count calories in Weight Watchers. A lot of people watch their fat in Weight Watchers. So it'd be nice once you did put a recipe in there if you knew exactly what that full recipe entails. Well, iTrackBites, it will count points, which they call them bites. It will track points and macros or calories. So I'm going to tell you how that works. I got my note here so I don't tell you wrong. Well, first of all, let me tell you this. They're running a special right now, but they have a place where you put in a promo code. And when I see that, I automatically get on Google and try to find me one. Well, I found one. And it's on a website called Smiley Points. Just Google it. Google iTrackBites promo code, and this will come up like the very first thing. It is Coach_Smiley, and it's $24.99 for the whole year. The whole year. The reason I went pro is because for the blue plan, it's the blue plan and the keto plan. Their blue plan equivalent is called Better Balance. You have to be a pro member to get that. So, since that's the one I'm doing, I went ahead and got it. For the green, it's called Sugar Smart, and that is on their free version. Now, the purple is complicated. You have to use, and I tried to read about it, but I didn't go into depth because I'm not on purple, and if you're on purple and try to do low carb, I think that would be hard, but if you can do it, then, and you want to try to track through iTrackBites, you need to do your research to see which program you have to use, because then you have to know your 0-point foods, and you have to toggle a switch to turn it from a pointed food to a 0-point food. It's a big thing. So I will leave that up to you. So that is Better Balance, the blue, Sugar Smart, the green, which is free. Better Balance is paid. Now, on the Better Balance, I got my notes here because I don't want to forget to tell you anything. On the Better Balance, it shows you the top, the points, just like Weight Watchers. And you can choose which other way under the points that you want to see. Do you want your secondary unit of measurement to be calories, or do you want it to be macros? Well, I have mine set to macros, so I can see my carb count as I go. Well, since endocrinologist man wants to know 100% is going to ask me, how many calories are you eating? I'm going to tell him, because I can go into settings, switch my secondary unit to calories, go back into the tracker, and there's my calories. Now you say, oh, that's a little bit too much trouble. No, it is no more trouble than what we already do right now when we give you the points for all three programs. Because to do that, we have to switch. We can't just... That's another thing I wish Weight Watchers was changed. Just let you click the color program that you want the points for instead of having to actually switch over to that program. So when we YouTubers give you the points for all three colors, we have to switch to the green plan and then look up the points. And then we had to switch to the purple plan and look up the points and the blue. So switching to do that, this is no more difficult. And that way I have my carbs and I have my calories for the doctor. Plus for me, that, kind of tells me if I'm eating too much or not. That's a good gauge for me as well. Let me make sure I was telling you. Yeah, that. So with that being said about iTrackBites, like I said, that's up to you. If you want to double track, if you don't want to double track, you can use, I think, MyFitnessPal. You don't get points on there, but you can do your points on Weight Watchers and your carbs and calories on MyFitnessPal. Just remember, when you do recipes, you do have to double up. So you have to do your recipes on Weight Watchers and on your secondary program. So that can kind of be a pain in the tail, but this journey is not easy. So would we expect anything? Would we expect anything less? No. Now let me get my book here. I'm gonna tell you how my day went yesterday. I got my little ice cream solves everything. No, it don't. Not this day and age. It does not. Huh. So for yesterday, I get 37 points, and I only used 23 points. I ate 1,435 calories and 64 carbs. And this is what I had. So for breakfast, I had 2 of those mini frittatas that I prepped and 2 pieces of sausage. Lunch, I had my chicken cauliflower stir fry that I prepped. Supper, I had 4 ounces of the pork loin I made, some green beans and air fried mushrooms. And then later on last night, I was in here crafting, got me an orange. And that's what I ate yesterday. So I didn't snack. We went to the grocery store. Poor David, I think he thinks I'm trying to starve him. He still has snacks here that, he can eat. I'm not cutting him off except for like the meals I cook. Now there's one coming up this week. I'm going to make him a baked potato. I'm not going to eat one, but what I'm having, I'm going to make him a baked potato because I still have some in there to use that I don't want to throw away. So there are some foods that us and you may have to kind of work through to keep from wasting them. Shelf-stable foods, not so much. Just stick them aside. They'll be there later. But if you have any fresh produce that, like potatoes or different things like that, that might go to the bad, then go ahead and use it up. You can still get to where you're going. It doesn't have to be like that overnight. But even though we went to the grocery store yesterday and we got snacks, I didn't eat any of them yesterday. I didn't get them to eat. I got them to have in case I needed to eat them. Does that make sense? If I don't have something low carb on hand, then I'm going to start looking somewhere else. And it's not going to be anything good because I got all kind of stuff in here for Sebastian that's still here. David's got stuff in there. I'll snatch something out of there if I get too cranky about it. And we don't want that happening. So even though we bought those things yesterday, I didn't eat them. But I did separate them out, marked them, pointed them, carved them, put them in a little baggies. I have my little containers, got my stuff in it. David's got his stuff in the other room where all the snacks go. Listen, he'll get up while he's in there sleeping because he sleeps during the day. I'll hear that door. I can tell when he goes to the bathroom. Then I can tell he didn't go to the bathroom. He crept in there in that middle room and he's digging in them drawers and him some snacks. I went over there a couple weeks ago to change his garbage can. He'd slap my head if he knew I was telling you. There was so many little snack papers. He gets his little hungry spells when he's sleeping and he just goes there, snacks in the bed and leaves his little snack papers in that garbage can. I say, Lord, honey. He just started laughing. You do you. But that at the store, okay. Now the store was, it was something. I can't, I'm getting there. Now, he'll eat what I fix him supper-wise. Low carb, he'll eat it. He will eat it. He's always been good about eating what I fix him. Plus, he wants to do this with me. But he's taking liberties because he doesn't have to, like I said, he doesn't have as much hanging in the balance as I do. So he can take the liberties. But in the store, he would say, we can eat this. I'm like, no, you got to put that back. You can eat it, but I'm not. And it took him, he couldn't quite, like, but we got to have something to eat. I'm like, yes, we do, but I don't have to eat that many carbs. I need to rein it in. I don't want to, like, do one, I can't think of something off the top of my head, and that'd be like my gateway drug into the bigger stuff. You know what I mean? So like a sugar-free cookie would just be a gateway drug into a little Debbie cake. So I'm just going to, stop that right there. I said also no refined sugars. 2 of the little seasoning packets, and he saw them and he wanted them, and I let him get them because I read on it. And this is where we make our judgment calls, because I don't live a very black and white life. I live a gray. There are black and white areas, but there are also gray areas, and I live in a gray area a lot of the times. And so I think our food choices would be one of those. So the no refined sugar, that gray area is, there's just that little bit in that seasoning packet that once it's spread out is not going to amount to much of anything, that I will break my rule, if you want to call it a rule, for that. I'm not breaking it for some sugar-free, or not sugar-free cookies, some something else with sugar in it. Like, whatever you can think of with sugar in it. I'm not breaking it for that. Like a sugar-free cake mix. I'm not going to break it for that. Because that is one of those gateway drugs for real. Now, that's what we were talking about on my other video, is I guess you have to pick your poison. Pick your battles. Pick whatever will fit into your day. Do you need to watch your points because you had a big point meal? So you can spend a few more carbs to keep your points down? Or vice versa. Did you have a big carb meal, but it was low on points, and so you got more points, and you got to keep your carbs down? Calories, if you watch your fat intake, whatever it is that you do, that you watch, that your sugars, whatever, you have to make the judgment call of what food is worth it for that day, for that meal, for that scenario of eating. So that is where our journeys are specific to us. My journey is not going to be like your journey. What I tell you, you can use as a guide, a reference, somewhere to start. Like I said, do your own research. Don't expect me to give you everything and you take it as gospel. You can take it and say, let me check that myself, because I'm going to tell you what, I will check behind somebody. I don't care who you are. The Pope could walk up in here in my face and tell me something. I'm going to check behind him, because that's the kind of person I am. I don't believe, what do they say? I don't believe nothing I hear and half of what I see. So take that as you will. Check behind me. Ain't gonna hurt my feelings. And if I say something wrong, if I have a mistake, you can say, hey, you checked it and what you found was so-and-so. Then I'll check and see. Maybe we got a bad website or something. Who knows? There's all kind of things that could happen. So anyway, that was my day of food for yesterday. Now, let me see. Was there anything else I wanted to tell you about iTrackBites? No. I do want to go over some low-carb snacks and options that you could lean towards if you're trying to get away from the high-carb foods. And depending on how much you eat of these, they can also be low point. Now, let me say, case in point, this is how this worked out yesterday. I didn't put the points for each in. I'm not going completely detailed because that's in my tracker. But the sausage was 8 points. That was 8 points worth of sausage for my breakfast. And then, like, maybe 2 of the frittatas together was 1 point, maybe. So 9 points. It was 9 points for breakfast. And you might only get 23 points a day. You're like, I can't eat 9 points for breakfast. But guess what? The rest of the day only added whatever 23 minus 9 is. So I ended up on 23 points. And I was able to have my full fat pork, delicious, regular, everyday sausage that I have loved my entire life because I watched it everywhere else. Even if you're not low carb, that's how you do it. If there's something you really want, just plan for it. Work around it. Put that in your tracker first and then plan your day around it. If you know for a fact there's something that you want. If you want a piece of cake, figure out how many points that cake is. Put it in your tractor. Put it in your tractor and ride. Go out and plow that field. Put in your tracker, and then you'll know exactly how many points you have to eat the rest of the day, and you know how many of those 0-point foods you need to rely on. So that's just that's an everyday tip, no matter how you're eating, low carb, high fat, calories, points, it don't matter. But these are some things that you can actually have on hand, like I have here. I have most of these. I think I do have most of these on hand. So when that craving hits, because see right now I know I'm in the honeymoon phase. It's exciting and it's new. I was telling somebody, and I do not remember who. I don't remember who I was telling, but there's like this, when I'm staring down the barrel of 200 pounds, is just like a weight on me that just will not come off. It is so daunting. It is so like unachievable in my mind. And then all of a sudden he switched it to 35 pounds. 35 pounds? Oh my gosh. I think I can do 35 pounds. It was like a weight was, I know I have to go further, but to get to 35 pounds and know that I would possibly be able to, have the outcome I want was, it took some weight off. As if he said, you got to lose that 200 pounds, then I would still just be almost defeated, really. So it lifted something off of me to bring it from 200 to 35. And if you have 200 pounds to lose, you know exactly what I am talking about, because it is, gosh, just thinking about it is too much. So I am excited. I am excited to try something new, and I'm hoping it's going to work. Now, I don't know this first week, since it's kind of like half and half, may see a loss on the scale Thursday, may not, but I think our bodies have to adjust. We'll talk about that. Whichever way it happens, we'll discuss it then. But these are snacks that I think, like the honeymoon phase I was saying. That's why I think I have a kind of an excitement about it, because, I am excited. I am excited to know that I'm that close. So anyway, these are some snacks, and I pretty much have all this on hand now. Okay, this first thing I'm going to tell you about is popcorn. And popcorn is corn. I told you I'm staying away from corn. I have not, I stopped eating, I ate popcorn every single day for how long? I've told y'all how many times I go through spells of things that I am addicted to. And popcorn was one of them. And when Sebastian got here, I don't know if it was because I was so tired by the time he would go to bed, I just wouldn't even pop any, because I like it at night when I'm sitting there watching TV before I fall asleep. So I just kind of got out of the habit of it. Now, he would like to pop some, so I'd pop him some or pop him some to take back to his daddy's house or something like that. But when I was looking up low-carb foods that you could have, popcorn's on the list. It's high in carbs, but it's on the list because they say in relationship to potato chips, that's your better option. Okay, let me give you the rundown of it. 2 tablespoons of unpopped kernels. I think that might give you, I tried to ask Google over here. I don't know if she told me right or not. She said an ounce of popcorn kernels will give you 4 cups. And I don't know if an ounce is 2 tablespoons or not. But 2 tablespoons of unpopped kernels in the air popper or in a paper bag in the microwave. Google how to do it. Easy as pie. Works like a charm. 75 calories. That's nothing. 18 carbs. Okay. Now, points-wise, blue and green, it's only 2 points. And purple, it's 0 points. But that 18 carbs, that's a big chunk out of your day. That's what I was telling you about that sausage. But they say popcorn is a whole grain and it's filling. So it will fill you up. I don't suggest you go out and eat popcorn every day because it's not low carb as we think in our mind. Oh boy, 5 carbs is low, 18 carbs is high. No. But if you want the popcorn, fit it in like I fit in the sausage. Fit in your 18 carbs if you're counting your carbs or your 2 points. That's all it is 2 points. So you decide how you want to fit it in if that's something special you want. I will probably fit some in every now and then, but since I'm out of luckily, the habit of wanting to eat it every single night, that happened at a really good time because I'd be fighting it. Now, these are some other things that are handy to have on hand. Okay, nuts. Now, I'm not will give you like, I just have a list. I'm not giving you points and weights and carbs and calories. I'm not giving you all that. You can do that yourself. You can put whatever type of item it is, a specific brand. You can determine your serving size and your own portions and your own carbs. You can do that yourself with whichever tracker you use. But I did want to show you what I did Sunday because, that was prep day and I was dog tired and I got hungry during the middle of it. And I have these, this is part of what we were talking about. I heard something. This is part of like using food up you have. So this is the Orchard Valley Cranberry Almond Cashew Trail Mix. Dried sweetened cranberries, almonds, and cashews. Oh, okay. David is talking to Alexa. I thought somebody's in my house. Nobody comes to my house this time of morning. He's in there asking Alexa some questions. He's in there cooking breakfast. Oh, I bet he's asking about carbs. I bet he is. Anyway, so dried fruit is one of the no-nos that I'm not eating because they're very high, right? I'm like, well, who says I can't pick the cranberries out and still eat the nuts? So I poured it out on a paper towel, picked away the cranberries, weighed the nuts. It turned out this almonds and cashews was 18 grams of nuts. So that's like a little over half an ounce because I'm pretty sure 28 grams is an ounce in anything. Correct me if I'm wrong. That came out to 3 points and only 3 carbs. And that was a nice little, no, it wasn't enough to fill me up until I could get some food, but it was enough just to knock off that little need for something and just put a little something on my belly. So you can do little things like that. Don't throw something away, because you don't want to eat that carb. What if you have a can of mixed vegetables that has the potatoes in it? I don't think that would be enough potatoes to count a carb, but let's say you don't want to eat it because you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Okay, I'll eat them little cube potatoes, and ooh, that might make me want a baked potato. And if you don't want to go there, pick those little potatoes out to keep from wasting that mixed vegetables. So that's just a little money saving part. Now here's some other things. Cheese. Like, cube up a chunk of cheese in like little 1 ounce cubes. Baby Bells. I got some of those on my shopping trip. Avocados. They're, depending on how much you eat, they can be high in points. And I'm not sure about the carbs, but it is a good fat for you. Avocados are so good for you. Sugar-free Jell-O. I got some of those in my haul. Olives. And some of these things, if you want to see the specific grams and points, watch my grocery haul from yesterday. The first part is the low-carb part. The second part is just everything else. So the first part, I don't know how long it lasts. I give you the information for these items. Sugar-free yogurt. At the store yesterday, we were sitting there looking at yogurt, and I was trying to find one without adding sugar, which is hard to do. But I found that too good, and he was standing there looking, and he goes, I hope the day never comes I got to eat sugar-free yogurt. He used to couldn't choke it down. He would eat it because he knew it was good for him. He's very good about that. I think if you told him dandelions are good for him like they are Flair, he'd start eating them, because he's very if he knows there's something good for him, or one of his ailments or something, he'll eat it. He'll power through it. Well, he got to where he found these flips that you see every week on my grocery. He loves those things. So he said he don't never want to have to eat sugar-free yogurt. Tuna. You could eat it in oil because oil is low carb, but if we're trying to keep this calorie and point friendly, I'm sticking with the water. That's why I got the kind in the water. Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise has no carbs. Duke's mayonnaise has no carbs. So I will put me some. I won't be on a sandwich, except for there is a little 90-second keto bread that I make in a mug. I'll show you one day how to make that. There are, we'll talk about that down here in a minute. Sugar-free pickles. I found the sugar-free relish. Dill pickles, I'm pretty sure. Read your label. Make sure there's no sugar in them. And got to be careful with the pickles, and the olives because of the sodium. Unsweetened nut or coconut milk. Those are low. That's what I forgot to write that. It was in my tracker and I forgot to write it on there. I had a good 2 cups of, I guess maybe 12 ounces. I just put it as 2 cups of almond milk. And then I had about maybe 3, a cup and a quarter, something like that, of regular skim milk with my supper. When I'm over there cooking and stuff, I get, like right now, my mouth is so dry. I feel like I've been sucking cotton, and my lips are so dry. And a lot of the times, unsweetened almond milk is the thing that fixes me up even more than water. So there's many times that I will just go in there and pour me a big old glass of that. Hardly any carbs to it. And we know the points, what, a point a cup. So I don't feel bad about it. And to me, it's very refreshing. So yeah, your unsweetened nut or coconut milks. Nut butters, just kind with no sugar in it. Almond butter, cashew butter, even peanut butter. I read a thing where is peanut butter or is almond butter and cashew butter really better for you than peanut butter? And they said there were a little bit of differences, but not as much as you might think. So good old peanut butter if you don't want to spend the money on the almond or the cashew, which we saw at the store yesterday, and we opted not to spend the money. Beef jerky. Different kinds of beef jerky has different amounts of sugar. Almost all of it, well, I'll say all of it unless it says no sugar added. Like mine that I found actually says 0 sugar. It all has some form of sugar in it. And the carbs varied that I saw from like 2 up to 6. So just do your research and read your labels. Pork rinds. That's another good substitute if you need something crunchy, salty, snacky. It's also good for bread. I'm going to make that one day next week. Pork rind coated chicken in the air fryer. I'll bring you along for that to show you, because pork rind crumbs make a good bread substitute for a lot of things. Then the 2 processed treats that we got were those Parmesan crisps, the Wisp brand, and the Blue Diamond Nut Thins. And the Nut Thins, because nuts are high on carbs if you eat too many, so you got to watch yourself. You can't just go in there and just start honking down on them. So you got to weigh and measure them and, you know, figure out how many carbs you're willing to spend on it. The Nut Thins, they're that way. They're high, but they're, if you take them down, like I said, I think it was 6 was a point and was like, I don't have any carbs. And just get you a tablespoon of the nut butter or the cream cheese, and I think that's a good low carb snack that's got some protein to it that I think will hold you better than if you were to sit down and eat a 3-point bag of potato chips, which you do that if you want to do. I ain't food shaming nobody. Nothing I say here, please don't take it the wrong way, because I don't mean it the wrong way. And then what I was talking about, the bread, but there's a 90-second bread. I made it back when I was on keto. And the one I made back when I was on keto was a little bit more involved than the one I just found. It doesn't have as many ingredients in it. And that is high in points. I think it might be maybe 8 points. But when you're deciding that you want carbs, taking precedent over points, that's another one of those. Make it your own. See, this is such a gray area when you try to stick it within the confines of Weight Watchers. But you can do the low-carb tortillas and breads because they make them, and I just don't know that I want to. I don't think I want to, because then I will start relying too heavily on those, because I can go all or nothing. Listen, that's my personality. Head first. It's ridiculous. Sugar-free sauces. Oh, I forgot to put that down too. I had a tablespoon of Ray's sugar-free barbecue sauce on my pork chop last night. So, I think that is all I was going to talk about. Let me make sure I don't have anything important up here. Nope. So, you tell me how you're doing. Tell me if you are doing low carb, if you're doing it in conjunction with a Weight Watchers program, or just on its own, because I know everybody that watches me is not on Weight Watchers, and that is fine by me, because I consider us all on the same journey. We've discussed that before. We have different ways to get there, but we're going to the same place. And so I welcome anybody of any weight loss. You don't even have to be on a weight loss journey. I just welcome you to spend time with me, you know. So let me know downstairs. Let me know downstairs how you're doing. Did you have any trouble on your first day? Are you fighting any cravings that you're having a hard time with? Like I said, I'm in the honeymoon phase. I know that ball will drop. I know it will. And I'll be like, I got to have a potato or bust. And if I do, I'll figure out a way to work it in. Some form or fashion, I will figure it out. I'm not going to completely deprive myself. If not having a small baked potato is going to lead me to eat 100 other things, making up for that one potato, I'll just get it out of the way. So anyway, let me know down there how you're doing. What are your thoughts? What are your struggles? What are you good at? What did you accomplish? And I think the next time we'll check in will probably be Thursday on weigh-in. So if I don't see you before, I'll see you then.